Here's Spencer, WTMJ News.
A proposal to discontinue Milwaukee County Transit System services on Christmas Day could save the system over $100,000.
That's according to the proposal's author Sheldon Wasserman, who says cutting a day of service on the holiday would be a net positive for a system dealing with an ongoing budget deficit.
By saving one day, gasoline and salaries and all the other mechanicals, it really is a win-win for everybody involved.
The proposal cites data indicating just under 14,000 system-wide rides on Christmas last year. MCTS tells WTMJ they're reviewing the proposal, but want to ensure minimal impact to passengers riding the bus on the holiday. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Country music legend and multi-platinum recording artist Garth Brooks will open Summerfest next year. The kickoff concert will take place Wednesday, June 17th at the American Family Insurance Amphitheater. This marks Brooks' first ever performance at Summerfest in his first show in Milwaukee in over a decade. Next year's festival will continue to follow the 3-week format adopted in 2021. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News, time 6:03.
It's like you don't want to even do anything anymore. You lay in bed in the morning, putting off the pain. You put off your workouts. You put off your walks. And yard work, that's just not even an option anymore. As we speak, pain is taking away more and more from your life. And unless you take action, it's going to get worse. And that's no way to live. Not when there's a Rejuvenex clinic nearby. Because the power of Toradol, joined with the wonder of hyaluronic acid, can alleviate your pain. And it can allow you to start living your life again. This is Rejuvenex founder Richard Salinas. At as low as $65 per injection per joint, Rejuvenex treatments are affordable. They're FDA approved. And in many cases, our patients pay nothing at all. Because insurance, including Medicare and Medicaid, pay for them. If your pain just won't go away, you should call Rejuvenex today.
Rejuvenex.
Google reviews will tell you it's worth a try.
You have never been to an all-inclusive resort? Well, neither have I. Hi, it's WTMJ's Steve Scafidi, and this winter, we're going to rectify that. My wife, Kathy, and I have teamed up with Fox World Travel to check another travel wish item off our list, and you are invited to join us. We'll be flying nonstop from Milwaukee to sunny Cancun and staying at the ultra-chic luxury resort Secrets the Vine. This adults-only all-inclusive resort offers unlimited luxury where so much is included. Best-in-class service, gourmet a la carte restaurants, top-shelf drinks, 24-hour room and concierge service, endless day and nighttime activities, and more. Come with us, soak up the sun on the beach or one of 3 sparkling infinity pools. Enjoy sommelier-led wine tasting or explore the Cancun area. You know my trips sell out fast, so if you want more information about the February festivities, contact a travel advisor at Fox by calling 866-GO-FOX-GO or their fabulous website, foxworldtravel.com.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. Fresh off a sweep of the Pirates in Pittsburgh, the Brewers road trip continues tonight in Texas against the Rangers. The Brewers begin the day 7.5 games ahead of the Cubs for the first place in the NL Central. Coverage begins right after news with Brewers Warmup. And a quick turnaround for the Packers following Sunday's 27-13 win over the Lions. The Packers welcome in the Washington Commanders Thursday night. Week 1 of the NFL season wraps up tonight with the Chicago Bears hosting the Minnesota Vikings. Taking a look at your roads with your WTMJ Time Saver traffic, we are seeing a crash that's on I-43 heading southbound near the Marquette interchange. We're also seeing some Brewers traffic on I-94 heading eastbound all the way up to American Family Field back by State Fair Park. Time for your WTMJ 5-day forecast. Overnight tonight, low of 53 degrees. Tomorrow, clouds increase. Rain possible overnight, high of 74. Wednesday, mostly sunny, high of 75. Thursday, mostly sunny, high of 78. Friday, mostly sunny, high of 78 degrees. Saturday, chance for showers, high of 80. Right now in Green Bay, it's 68. In Madison, it is 68. In Waukesha, it's 69. And in Milwaukee, it's 68 degrees. I'm Elizabeth Linton in Outdoor Living Unlimited, WTMJ News, time 6:07.
This is Brewers Warmup with Dominic Cotroneo. Your lineups, manager insights, and a preview of tonight's game right now. This is Brewers Warmup. Here's your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Deep in the heart of Texas, the Brewers and the Rangers getting ready for a 3-game series. Old American League foes with an interleague matchup today. The Brewers in search of their 90th win of the season. We'll talk about the significance of that coming up in just a moment. But let's give you the important stuff right off the top. The magic number to clinch a postseason berth is just 3. While it technically could happen tonight, it's not mathematically possible because a couple of teams are off tonight. So the soonest it could happen that they clinch a postseason game is tomorrow. However, the number that most people care about are the following. What's the magic number to clinch the Central? That is currently 12 against the Chicago Cubs. The Cubs are about to get going as we speak against the Atlanta Braves down in Atlanta. And the magic number to clinch a postseason bye is 10, given that's what the current leader of the NL West is. The Dodgers are getting ready to host the Rockies this week. The Padres, meanwhile, are hosting the Cincinnati Reds. Sort of a last stand here for Cincinnati this week after winning the series against the Mets. So if the playoffs started tomorrow, here's how things would shake out. The Brewers would be the 1 seed, the Phillies the 2, and the third division winner, the Dodgers, would be subjected to hosting a wild card series like the Brewers have been in the last 2 years. The Dodgers would be hosting a best of 3 with the last team in, which is currently the New York Mets, who are playing a big 4-game series against the Phillies this week. That is their last chance to make any noise. Then the other wild card series would be the Cubs hosting a 3-game set with the San Diego Padres. So the Cubs are up 3 games on San Diego. San Diego is up 2 games on New York, and that last spot is clear by 4 spots over both the Reds and the Giants. Again, the Brewers enter today 7.5 games up on the Chicago Cubs. Your magic number goes down every time you win and or your opponent loses. So if the Brewers win today, the magic number falls to 9. If the Cubs lose and the Brewers win, that magic number falls to 8. That's how all of that works. So the Brewers will be keeping an eye on plenty of scoreboard watching. All the teams that are relevant to them are in action this evening as the Crew at 89-55. Another win also sets a new franchise record for high watermark, the most games above 500 at any point in a season. It's already the latest they've ever been into a season with the best record in baseball at 89-55. The pitching matchup today, it'll be Jose Quintana for the Brewers against Jacob Latz for the Rangers. He's been reinserted into this starting rotation due to injuries for the Rangers right now. Nathan Eovaldi on the IL. John Gray has not performed as they wished. The Rangers are kind of going through it in the injury front as well because there are a lot of names that really only the diehards are going to know about. Let's go ahead and give you the starting lineups, and that is the big breaking news of today. Christian Yelich is back in the starting lineup. Here it is for the Crew. Bryce Terang will lead things off. He is playing second base. The 2-hitter is Jackson Chourio. After yesterday's off day, he is in left. William Contreras hits third. He is catching after was only serving as the DH yesterday. Yelly will be the DH and hit cleanup once again. He is back in the order after 5 straight days off, and yet the Brewers went 4-1 in his absence. Andrew Vaughn will hit fifth. He had a 4-hit game yesterday in Pittsburgh. He's playing first base. The 6th spot is Caleb Durbin. He is over at third. He was the only Brewer to fail to reach base in yesterday's blowout win. Batting 7th is Sal Frelick, still in the hunt for the batting title. More on that a little bit later. Sal is in right. Blake Perkins hits 8th. He is the center fielder. And finally, batting 9th, it's Joey Ortiz as the shortstop. The Brewers have Terang, Chourio, and Contreras as the top third. Yelich, Vaughn, and Durbin in the middle. Frelick, Perkins, and Ortiz at the bottom. Now for Bruce Bochy's Texas Rangers. It is all righties facing the southpaw. That has been a bugaboo this season for Texas. One of the worst records in the game against left-handed starters. Wyatt Langford will lead things off. He is playing left field. Cody Freeman, who's been high energy and has been a big part of the recent good play, he is in right, batting second. Josh Young, third baseman out of Texas Tech, oft injured but talented when he's on the field. Cleanup hitter is Jake Berger. Funny name. He can hit first baseman, 14 homers on the year. Dylan Moore will play second base and bat fifth for Texas. Kyle Higashioka, designated hitter, also backup catcher, into the lineup today, hitting 6th. Jonah Heim, switch hitter, and is behind the plate. He is batting 7th. Michael Hellman is in center field tonight for Texas, followed by Ezekiel Duran. He is the shortstop for the Rangers. Again, for Texas, Langford, Freeman, Young, the top third, Berger, Moore, Higashioka in the middle, and finally Heim, Hellman, and Duran. And one more time, the pitching matchup. Jose Quintana, 11-5, a 3.72 ERA against Jacob Latz, 1-0, a 3.15 ERA for the fourth season in a Rangers uniform for the lefty. We'll talk about the significance of 90 wins, what it means, how these magic numbers are going to continue to roll for the Brewers. That's after this on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
I've always believed that great service makes all the difference. At Waterstone Bank, it's more than just banking. It's personal. When I needed help choosing an account, my banker took the time to understand my needs and guided me through my options. Thanks to her advice, I can watch my money grow, knowing it's secure.
Welcome to your Waterstone Bank, where community and personal service come together. Member FDIC.
Come catch the final battle of the regular season when the Brewers host the Reds Friday, September 26th through Sunday, September 28th. We're celebrating the best fans in the game on Saturday, the 27th at Fan Appreciation Night, presented by Toyota. Plus, if you're one of the first 30,000 fans through the gates, you'll take home a Brewers tumbler giveaway too, presented by Quick Trip. Come close out the regular season with the crew. Get your seats today at brewers.com/tickets.
In 1964, we were making strides towards space travel.
Mary Poppins was the #1 movie in theaters.
And the Beatles were taking America by storm.
Which was long before I was born.
Facts. 1964 is also the year it all started for Richland's Tire and Service Centers. 60 years of continuous growth and more happy customers than you can shake a stick at.
Okay, the streamers are a bit overkill. It's just us in the studio.
All right. But it's important to know accomplishments like these aren't possible without a dedicated team. So hats off to them and our founder, my dad, Dick Mitchke, for understanding the importance of customer focus.
Facts. There's no 60 years of anything without you, the customer, which is why our focus will remain on you and only you for years to come.
Thank you from all of us here at Richland's Tire and Service Centers.
Richland's Tire and Service, such a refreshing change. Richland's.
Now, more of Brewers Warmup on WTMJ.
89-55. That is the Brewers record, the best in the majors. I'm Dom Cotroneo. We're going to the bottom of the hour to get you ready for Rangers and Brewers this evening down from Globe Life Field. So what does 90 wins mean to a Brewers fan? Well, you look at it in franchise history, 57 seasons. That's including, of course, the Seattle Pilots back in 1969. But in those 57 seasons, there haven't been many 90-win years. In fact, there have been 11 such 90-win seasons, and even a couple of 89s in there, too. But the reason why it's significant, when the Brewers get to 90 wins this season, that will be the fourth time in the last 5 years, coming out of the pandemic, that they have achieved at least 90 wins in each of those seasons. And then there was a bit of a dry spell there for a little while since 2011. They did not get over 90 wins until 2018. We all know how that season ended as well. But 90 wins has become the unofficial benchmark to say you're a playoff team. Now, of course, there are many more experienced Brewers fans that would say it didn't used to be that way, and you're right. The way that the playoffs work these days, as opposed to maybe in the 70s, when it was just two teams in each division moving on, and the divisions made no sense. There were 7 teams per division, and you were lumped in there like in 1979 when they won 95 games, yet finished second in the division in the AL East, because that makes sense, right? When they were 95 and 66, but the Orioles were 102 and 57. So this is before interleague play as well. So everybody beat up on Toronto that year, and nobody else was below 500 in the East because Toronto lost 109 games. So the thought being, celebrate 90-win seasons, because it's essentially guaranteeing yourself a postseason berth, right? And you look at the last few years, the time that they didn't make 90 wins, 2022, they missed out by a game. 2019, they were only in the wild card round with 89 wins, whereas, you look at it, they only finished 2 games back of St. Louis. We all know how 2019 ended. Then you go back, the last time they had won 90 games prior to 2018 was 2011, which is still the franchise record, 96 wins in a single season. You may be thinking, well, Dom, they had 96 wins in 2018 as well. Well, that includes Game 163. So you got to keep that in mind for the Brewers to get to the finish line. They have a chance to maybe break the franchise record for most wins in a season. So there are 18 games remaining. They just need 7 more wins. They can go 7-11 and still tie the franchise record in wins. They can go 11-7 and get to 100, which has obviously never been done in Brewers or Pilots franchise history. This is pretty significant for the crew. If they have an opportunity to get to that 90 mark again, and just remind yourselves, you are alive at the same time as the most successful era of Brewers baseball that we have ever seen. And it should be applauded, it should be enjoyed, and let's ride this wave as long as possible. And we'll do some scoreboard watching along the way to see if the Brewers can continue to gain and shrink that magic number. You look at the upcoming schedule here for the Brewers. You got these 3 with the Rangers, who are currently on the outside looking in on the playoff picture. But they start today in the American League, still technically in the hunt. They're a game and a half back of Seattle. In Seattle, they are hosting the Cardinals, who've been playing better as of late. They're a 500 team. Seattle is 75-68. That's a 3-game set. Then the Brewers will come home for those St. Louis Cardinals. They'll face the Cardinals on back-to-back weekends. This weekend here at home, next weekend down in the Lou. But in the middle of that, it's the Angels, who are on the outside looking in as well, currently at 9 games under 500. The point being, this is the window that the Brewers want to take advantage of. These next 4 series against outside looking in playoff opponents. Rangers, Cardinals, Angels, Cardinals. 4 straight series where you can say, without question, you're the better team, obviously. You can say that probably about the Padres, too, but the Padres are going to need every game they can get here down the stretch because they are suddenly back in it, playing a game of hot potato with the Dodgers. No, I don't want it. You want it. No, I don't want it. You want it. You take it. I don't want to take it. You take it. They're 1 game back of the Dodgers in the West. But the Dodgers have the tiebreaker over San Diego. No more head-to-heads the rest of the year. Again, San Diego's hosting Cincinnati, and the Dodgers are hosting Colorado, so that's going to be hard for them. But the Brewers are 10 games clear of the teams there in the NL West, which is helping them in their quest for a bye, as long as they take care of business with the Chicago Cubs. Let's talk a little bit about Christian Yelich and how important it is to have him back in the order coming up next on 620 WTMJ.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Patrick and Monica initially chose a bank to get pre-approved and provide financing for the purchase of their first home. But they were getting a bad feeling when a week after their offer was accepted, the bank still hadn't locked in their rate, nor had the appraisal been ordered. Monica shared her concerns with a friend who happened to be a multi-time AccuNet client. That led to Monica connecting with one of our senior loan consultants the same day, and after gathering some information and reviewing options, we locked in their rate right then and there with loan costs $3,600 lower than what the bank had quoted. The appraisal was ordered right away too, and the loan closed on time just 3 weeks later. We also noticed an oversight in the contract that led to a $3,000 credit from the seller. You can get a generic pre-approval and average or worse service from a bank, or you can get the kind of fast service, advice, attention to detail, and savings that made Monica and Patrick AccuNet's latest raving fans. All you got to do to get started is click on the blue button at AccuNet.com. That's ACCUNET.com.
There's no better place to catch the natural wonders of fall than Lake Geneva. Stroll a lakeshore path in a kaleidoscope of color. Explore winding rustic roads. Take a scenic boat tour or glide through a forest on a zip line. At night, stargaze from a historic observatory, cozy up to a campfire, or have a cocktail on the patio. Enjoy the seasonal bounty at orchards, wineries, and farms with flavors to savor. Plan your fall getaway now at visitlakegeneva.com. Lake Geneva. It's always been the place for fall fun.
It's Gina Della. You've heard me define what makes Pella windows and doors different. Let me introduce you to the woman behind the billboards, commercials, and share my extraordinary journey of resilience, reinvention, and shattering glass ceilings every Saturday morning at 6:30 on 620 WTMJ and anywhere you stream podcasts for What's the Difference with Gene Nadella to discuss business coaching across all industries, featuring successful executives, entrepreneurs, and mentors along the way. This is a story you won't want to miss.
Back to Brewers Warmup on WTMJ.
All my exes live in Texas.
Attaboy, Nate. Attaboy.
And Texas is a
Brewers and Rangers. You know, I was just in Houston. Just one of the best traditions for attending a game in Texas. The seventh inning stretch, deep in the heart of Texas, follows, of course. But the Brewers getting ready for a little Texas two-step, 3 games coming up with the Rangers. Now, Christian Yelich is back. He is in the starting lineup. He has missed the last 5 games. All the concerns about his back, and Adam McCalvy had a little expose on him in the locker room earlier today. Here's what Yelly had to say about it, again, courtesy of MLB.com beat reporter Adam McCalvy. Quote, "I was not worried for a second about it," Yelich said. "I knew when I missed some time that it's going to spiral out of control with the stories and the narratives and all that stuff. There was not one thing that hurt it. It was just, I think I played sort of in a lot in a short amount of time and wasn't feeling the greatest. And yeah, I did have back surgery, so you're going to have days where you're a little stiffer or sore. It's just kind of where we're at in the season. We just wanted to make sure that everything was all good going down the stretch." Look, this is where I'm going to put myself into the story. That's kind of the first rule of journalism 101. You don't put yourself into the story. But as somebody who's been dealing with some serious back issues for the last 2 years, it is no fun. And I tell you what, there are days that I wake up and I go, oh my goodness, I can go run a marathon today. And there are days that I'm like, oh my God, I cannot get out of bed. And I'm not trying to hit a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. So it's funny. Yelly and I have had conversations about our own back issues over these last few years and just what he does to help, what I do to help, like what he thinks, like how much does golf hurt, how much does baseball hurt, like what does it do, the torque on your back and all that fun stuff. But the point being, Yelly has been dealing with this for so long. He has found a routine that will help him kind of end these little snags as quick as possible. And I think that's all you can really ask for somebody that understands what it takes for his body to be prepared to play on a daily basis. Now, is Yelly going to be as sharp as attack when he comes back? Probably not. But that's the luxury the Brewers are in right now, that they have the ability to give Yelly a couple of days off and to tell Yelly, hey, we're good. Just take a breather. Got guys that can handle it. Not going to put you on the IL. It doesn't feel like this is going to be a 10-day issue. Let's get you back in there when you're ready. And then a reminder, as the Brewers march to being the number 1 seed here in the National League, they're going to get 5 straight days off from playing games. Now, there's going to be workouts in that time. They'll be watching games and that sort of thing. But the Brewers are going to play the finale on September 28th, and they don't have another official game until October the 4th, as long as things go according to plan. So that's another chance to get him healthy and to get him a little rest and a reset to get the Brewers in the right frame of mind. Furthermore, another injury update today. A couple of things that happened today roster-wise. Grant Anderson, right-handed reliever, was activated off the injured list. He is back. Minimum stay with a little ankle inflammation. Wasn't arm-related. But the Brewers had to option Craig Yoho in order to make room for him. I think Craig will be back by the end of September. This is a consequence of the current roster crutch, meaning, hey, Yoho's not going to pitch in leverage, and Grant Anderson is. Furthermore, they won't DFA Pyomps or Fetty until they absolutely have to, given neither one of those guys can be optioned. They still have Trevor McGill due back. They still have Nick Mears due back, not till a little later in the month. But the point being, the Brewers will always choose somebody with optionality over somebody being DFA'd and take a risk at your depth. And again, I'll say this over and over again. There's no rule that says your roster on September 8th has to be your playoff roster, right? There's going to be changes, and it's even going to change based on the opponent they get in that first round of the postseason. So the Brewers activate Grant Anderson to help out this bullpen, which is huge, and they got a great breather yesterday thanks to Jacob Mizorowski going his 7 innings. It was just Pyomps and Yoho Uribe's freshened up. Koenig has freshened up. That is very important for the Brewers getting ready for these Texas Rangers. Another move that is looming, tomorrow's starter is still technically listed as TBA. That being said, it will likely be Chad Patrick, as the Brewers beat also reported that Chad Patrick has a locker there at Globe Life Field. Know who else has a locker at Globe Life Field who is not yet activated? Rhys Hoskins. Tomorrow is the end of that rehab assignment, so the fact that he's already in town, and the Brewers obviously intend to activate Rhys. What that corresponding move will be, we will await and see. We don't like to predict these things for guys that are actively on the roster, but if you wanted to read the tea leaves, it probably would be Anthony Siegler, and they would kind of own it, the lack of a left-handed infielder, which isn't the end of the world. They still have Jake Bowers, who's been swinging the bat well. So we'll have more to talk about, maybe even still roster-wise, in tomorrow's Brewers warm-up. Same time, same place. 6 o'clock, we'll be on the air for a 7:05 first pitch. But don't fret, we'll be with you after the game today as well. Brewers and Rangers opening up a 3-game series, and we'll have plenty of scoreboard watching updates from the Braves and Cubs, and I'll leave you with a good one. 3-0 Braves in the bottom of the first inning. RBIs from Ronald Acuna Jr., Ozzie Albies, and a solo homer from Drake Baldwin. We'll talk to you after. Keep on swinging.
Chad Schultz, president and owner of Innovative Signs, discusses his experience working with SVA-certified public accountants on improving his company's profitability.
So the SVA professional helped us look at expenses, look at our profit margin, and really dig deep into what's going to make us the most profitable based on our marketplace. SVA is a professional accounting firm. They know accounting. I have a major comfort level with them from a responsiveness level, understanding of my needs, and they are very professional on their end.
To learn more about how we can provide you with measurable results, go to sva.com/profitable.
Get ready to say goodbye to those bland seltzers at the ballpark. Carbless is proudly Wisconsin-born, crafted by real people. A husband and wife team who wanted better cocktails in a can. They're locally made and blissfully better. Carbless offers a bold, true cocktail flavor that's made for baseball fans. Available in fan-favorite flavors like lemon lime, black raspberry, cranberry, and mango, bringing the craft cocktail bar to your seat. Refreshment that matches the energy of American Family Field is Carbless. Full of flavor, no sugar, and no carbs. Just game day bliss.
3, 2, 1.
Nimmo back at the track. Gone!
Dahl on the track, Dahl at the wall. Goodbye! Home run!
Fly ball right field. Hit a ton! We're tied!